Today, I have the joy of introducing to you Michael Spreeman. He's no stranger to the industry. In fact, he's a piano technician who is guest featured in some of the PTG meetings as a teacher and instructor. But Michael Spreeman has also pioneered the Ravenscroft piano. And for those of you who don't know, it exists both as a beautiful set of two pianos that are concert level pianos, but also as a virtual instrument. So thanks for joining us, Michael. Why don't you tell us about Ravenscroft and what it offers to the world as a piano brand?
Thanks, Glenn. Great to be here. Good to see you. Ravenscroft Pianos began in 2004. It's a joint venture between Bob Ravenscroft and myself. I met Bob. Bob is a jazz pianist when I was head technician at Arizona State University. And one of the results of our relationship was I redesigned and rebuilt a concert grand for him. Mm-hmm. And he loved it so much that about 10 years later, he came to me and said, so Michael, have you ever thought about building your own pianos? And that essentially led to where we are here today, nearly 15 years later, building the custom Ravenscroft grands. So as you mentioned, we do two different grands. Currently, we do a 275 concert piano and a 220, in my opinion, is also a concert piano.
Yes.
7'3".
Yeah.
We're in the midst right now of redesign. We're going to sort of phase out the 220 in lieu of a model 228, a little bit larger, 7'6" piano. Mm-hmm. The 9-foot I'm looking at redesigning as well, with the intent with both pianos to bring production here to the United States so that we can have as much U.S. parts as possible and U.S. labor, and we truly want this to be an American product. So,
and where is most of the piano originate from now?
Currently, Sauter in Germany does our rims and plates. We use Renner actions. The plates are cast in Germany at a foundry called Funk.
And last time I talked to you, I think last NAMM, you didn't have a booth there, but the year before you had unveiled some interesting news. Why don't you tell us about that?
We have a lot of news. It's been a record couple of years since we attended NAMM last. The primary reason that we didn't show was we were in the midst of two fairly significant expansion and building projects. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting today in our new build studio in North Scottsdale. We began in Scottsdale, so we're still here.
Right.
But our build studio is probably 4 times as large as it was when we began, where we pretty much were building one piano at a time.
Right.
But we've had enough success now that we wanted to up production, and we actually own the building now. So that's one huge feat. As you can imagine, working with the architects and doing a total build out. Mm-hmm. We also have a second project going on. It's just called the Ravenscroft building. And it's a half a mile from the build studio here. And this is a 30,000 square foot build out. We're hoping that should be completed in July. And it will have a showroom, a new showroom for us. And it'll have about a 200-seat state-of-the-art performance venue. It will be fairly sophisticated as far as the technology. I think they're incorporating something from a company called Meyer, which is a constellation system, which is a pretty advanced system that allows you to control the delay in the hall. So you can copy things like Carnegie Hall, things like that, but you can also create your own sound paths. You can also, I think, project visual images and movies and things on all of the walls. So if somebody wants to do a solo piano concert where they're on the top of Mount Rushmore, then the videographers can, project this
Oh,
whole
wow.
image. So that's pretty cool. It's also going to have a jazz club called the Jazzbird Club, which is a small, intimate venue with we'll serve food and drinks and that kind of thing.
Nice.
Corporate offices on the second floor, and then it also has a conference room in it. So,
and is the intent
very, very exciting things going as far as expansion in our world with the two new pianos and this. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and so the intent will be to bring in artists from outside to do concerts there?
Yeah, absolutely. There'll be, I'm sure weekly or monthly jazz series that Bob will be sponsoring, and then we will sponsor several events throughout the year, upwards of 20 maybe. The other advantage is for those people who are shopping, for the first time, we'll be able to, if they're looking for a 9-foot, obviously we'll have a 9-foot piano in the large hall, and they can go in there and experience it in appropriate acoustics as opposed to being in a little showroom. And the same thing we'll have a 220 in the smaller Jazzbird facility, and then as many pianos as I can build to get into the showroom. Nice. So
I remember back probably in about 2017 at your booth at NAMM, you had a digital piano set up right side by side your 275. And the digital piano featured something called a sample. And for those of you who don't know what a sample is, it's a recording of a piano, so that when you hit a note on the piano, the digital piano, it plays that recording of a note. And you have impeccably sampled your Ravenscroft 275, which is by a lot of keyboardists around the world in the pro world, hail that as one of the greatest samples around. Tell us a little bit more about the Ravenscroft samples.
That again was a very interesting path to arrive at that specific product, because like a lot of piano builders and manufacturers, I'm an acoustic piano guy.
Right.
And for years, the digital end really was a threat to acoustic pianos and acoustic piano sales per se. So the sample project began with several of our artists who are touring artists with large pop groups coming to me saying, we really would like to carry your sound with us on when we're touring, but we don't carry acoustic pianos anymore. It's cost prohibitive. So have you ever considered sampling your piano? So that was at an NAMM show. We came home, and I did intensive research of all the samples that were available at the time. And I finally found a company very similar to our own. It's a two-man company called VI Labs Audio. And we got together, and to me, what I was hearing that they had done was the closest to an acoustic piano sound. Not that there's a lot of great samples out there today. But we contracted and worked together with VI Labs to produce the 275 sample. So that was so successful that 2 years ago, we started a new sample project, and these projects are massive. The 220 project, we're doing a joint venture with a studio in Austria called Prime Studio. And it too is a two-man operation, like Andrew, my son, and I here. Just phenomenal quality. So we flew a Model 220 over there for the sampling, and then I lived in Austria for about 3 or 4 months while we did the recording. The recording process is, I think the 275 has 85,000 samples, 87, somewhere in there. Wow. And that's basically 87 key doinks, right? Right. Which is massive. The 220 project, we have over 180,000.
Wow.
And, that's just one part of the process. The second part is scripting and all that goes into the computer software to make it playable and accessible. And the guys have been working on that for over a year now,
Wow.
which was similar with the 275 project. I think took about a year and a half to come to completion. So we're hoping to have this released in the next 2 or 3 months. We're almost ready to begin beta testing. So we'll have a second. So what I'd like to say about the digital end and my philosophy is, if you can't join them, beat them. And how I feel about that, honestly, is I can't stop the fact that hundreds of thousands of people are beginning piano lessons by buying keyboards.
Right.
It's just a fact now, and because pianos to a lot of people are cost prohibitive, and they can buy a keyboard for $500 to $2,000. And so what I thought was, well, since we already have this large market of people buying keyboards to learn to play acoustic piano, why not give them a 9-foot piano sound to play? And my thinking is, if they have a keyboard that feels decent and feels a little bit like a piano, if you're lucky, as they become more proficient, they're obviously going to crave that acoustic piano sound and hopefully go out and buy an acoustic piano. So I think in some sort of way, it's a benefit to the acoustic piano company to do this.
Well,
for us,
I was just going to say, I've done some piano recording in past, and to try and get a very present piano sound is a very difficult task. You need a good studio environment, the right microphones, preamps, audio to digital converters. Your sample is so present and so lovely sounding. It's one of the best on the market in my mind. With technology also becoming more powerful, I believe you can get yours as an app on a phone even now, yeah?
Yeah, the 275 is an official Apple iOS app.
Yeah.
And it's like $29. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
wow.
It's very attainable for anybody.
Yeah.
And the sound quality is good. I think what they had to dummy down were a lot of the features that you have in the big software program.
Right. Right. Well, it sounds like you've had some very busy years, and these next couple of months sound like they're going to be pretty exciting with the opening of your new concert venue, as well as this release of the sample.
It is. One other, before we part, one other big win that we had this year was we were pirated in China. There was a company that started producing Ravenscroft pianos with our logo. They basically copied my website. So you would go to ravenscroftpianos.cn and you'd see my website with Chinese characters on it. And at the Shanghai shows, they had pictures of me and Bob and our artists on the wall. I mean, it was a pretty ruthless thing, which has happened to other manufacturers. But last year we finally won, I think it was a 3-year lawsuit, and we now have our registered trademark in China, Indonesia. Obviously, we've had it in the United States for quite a while, but we're really happy. I mean, there are piano manufacturers that big names that can't sell their pianos under their registered U.S. name because this happened to them and somebody pirated or registered their trademark in China. So they literally have to sell their piano under a different name.
You don't actually think about that in the piano business.
Like, why would somebody want to?
But I guess it's actually a business that someone can profit from. Well, I'm glad that the outcome of that, after 3 long years, that also brought to fruition some success for you as well.
It did, yeah. So anyway, we're looking to some really exciting, great things.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, never a dull moment.
The outlook, the prognosis for 2021, what does that hold for you?
21 is great. We're finally getting back into production here. I began the 228 design about 2 weeks ago, so it's fresh on the books. And as you mentioned, the opening of the big Ravenscroft building is going to be quite an event as well. So we're looking forward to a lot of and the release of the 220 virtual instrument. So
that'll be great.
Lots of things going on.
I talked with Chip Meyer from Renner recently, and we were talking about the Renner Academy. And at some point, I'd like to get down to your neck of the woods and do a feature in your new build studio there. So hopefully we can do that in the future.
Love to have you.
That'd be great. Thanks so much for taking the time, Michael. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Have a great one. Thanks.
You too. Bye.
Bye.